See Kaiser doing a little bit of some swinging, some helicopter blades there on the Reinhardt in the spawn. Proper gonna be swapping over to the Zarya. Meta Athena looks like they're actually gonna be putting Shubo onto the Zarya and Jerry onto the Sombra. So we are seeing a different take from Meta Athena. It is not going more of a 2-2 or triple TTS, but they are running that Sombra Goats, which a lot of teams have had some success for, and been more successful than running the 3-3 mirror. As O2 Blast look to enter the point.
O2 looking for a way in. Early hack can be on to Krong. And Meta Athena, they take some degree of opportunity here. They go for Kaiser and take him down. And Krong wasn't able to use Matrix for that entire time. Very good hack out from Jerry.
Yama gets 2 though. He's at the entire time. He actually not only did he get half with a great headshot, but somehow managed to walk forward. They were hoping for maybe even get staggered. They were actually shooting him, and levels goes down as well. So if Yama getting both of those players, they're gonna be back in time for this next push. But something that just should never happen. That's just free ult charge for Youngbung. Once again, Krong is hacked, but this time the hack is well before the crossfeed happens for O2, so the hack's gone.
Means that Kaiser's gonna have a lot more room to work with. Seeing Yuck drop on down. Earthshatter is up, and because Kaiser got bopped so early, there is a big difference in shatter between the two different teams. So Inyok can be a little bit more aggressive than Norm. Knows that Kaiser one of Shatter, has one of his own. Kaiser already stuck with Discord Orb. Moving forward, going directly in. Force out the Zarya bubble, and Shatter down under pressure. Doesn't get anything. O2 Blast, though. Front line very low. Kaiser and Krong needing to back on up. Heal. But all the while, still contesting the point. Meta Athena biding their time. They have EMP built on up. Now is Jerry's time to strike. Holding up here. EMP ready. Down he goes! Myeonbong takes down the big threat. There won't be an EMP. And O2 Blast. The gates are open.
That's first. Going the way for O2 Blast. And if you're Jerry, you probably don't expect to get right-click snipe from Myeonbong, but you probably should. Because that's definitely just a cardinal sin of Sombra, is that you do not sit in front of Reinhardt shield for the most part. You are far squishier than the majority of the heroes on the field. You are also having to play far further up to get effective value, and that's just something you can't be at. You needed the EMP if you want to stay in the fight. So first is lost from that pick. Myeonbong coming up big, getting crucial frags. O2, who now have moved into second. They have the gravity. See, they've moved proper onto the high ground already because they know that Jerry has EMP. They know that one of their best bets is that if they can grab early, they can remove ult and then win the post fight.
And the key here for Meta Athena is that you have to make sure Summer lives. They use the early Graviton proper, immediately going to fall. And the upside here is that they should be able to finish off the rest of this without investing the EMP. It's a really nice grab. It sets it up. It lets them stabilize. And now Jerry should be able to use the rooftops here and get a good EMP to give Meta Athena more stability.
The rooftops give him a good funnel point for the EMP, but the real problem then is how do you catch the backline? O2 are going to have both double support holes here. They're going to have the grab post fight as well. They don't have shadow. They don't have grab for once those support holes are cleared. So they're going to have to get a lot of value with this EMP, hopefully catch the backline, but because of how split, how vertical this point is, it becomes very hard.
Graviton is in. EMP used by Jerry in response to the grab. But Meta Athena, as you say, they don't have great fall through to make use of the EMP. The EMP really just keeps them alive. But here's the problem. Congratulations, you're alive. Now how do you win this fight? You're running Sombra. O2 Blast, they have the stronger front line. All you're going to be able to do here is back out. O2 Blast is going to consume a lot of space here. Kaiser gets the shatter, forces out the beat. A shatter for beats, and now a beat on the other side from O2 Blast. They isolate Shabil, and this is looking very, very good for O2 Blast right now.
You see now next, they're going to be taking down Inyok. He should be going down very soon as Myeonbong flanks through this lower on the bar, gets half. They're chasing down these frags now into the spawn. Myeonbong, he won't stop. He won't stop getting those kills as O2 Blast. They have 2 on point. They have 3 on point. They're going to be capping it out. Meta Athena, they will not be able to contest. It would be foolish to contest. They will have EMP for the following fight, but Myeonbong already has another Transcendence. Proper for coming up on a grab. For O2 Blast, if they can grab in time, they can engage first. And they also, even if they don't, will still have the chance for the EMP.
And O2, whether it be hero plays from Youngbung or just better positioning, they have been outplaying Meta Athena here. The swapped Sombra has not fixed their ails. Jerry his EMP up for this next fight. O2 already looking to take it. The EMP is going to move on in, hits 4, but Myeonbong right there. The Transcendence keeps it alive. They punish Inyok. And now with the 6-on-5, O2 can continue their assault into Meta Athena territory.
as Myeongbong countering that EMP with the trance. They held onto the grab there as well. For Meta Athena, they can walk away with one victory in that they do have grab. There is no trance. They know Mondu doesn't have beat just yet, or at least they should. So engaging with this grab early means they have a solid position to clean it up, and then it relies very much on Kwong and Proper to get the peel.
Graviton's gonna be exchanged here, both sides. O2 though, they're more than happy with that. They're still completely fine. The self-destruct up and over. Not in a great position. Myeongbong is down. Myeongbong was looking to snipe, ended up being the snipe B, but both teams down to Zen. Winnable for O2 Blast. They need to get healed on up though. Proper and Pelican very low. Meta Athena looking a lot healthier. EMP in reserve. And Kaiser right now, just holding to the back. I think they're gonna wait for a full 6.
They're definitely waiting for a full 6. I'm surprised Meta Athena didn't actually chase at all, considering that Myeongbong wasn't there. There was no trance, there was no heals, there was no Discord. Kaiser so low, discorded right now, so aggressive. There's the EMP. Didn't have to use Shatter. They cleaned it up. They knew there was no trance. They caught Mondu, so there wasn't a beat either. I really don't agree with O2 holding that aggressive when they're down one. Even though Meta Athena didn't end up punishing them, they still stayed in that fight, fed ults to Meta Athena.
Well, I would give the response there and say it's respect. And right now, O2 Blast is not showing Meta Athena a whole lot of respect, period, because what has Meta Athena done to earn it?
True, you gotta get that street cred. If you're Meta Athena, you do have to get that street cred. Now Shabil is coming up on that grab. They know that the double support should be up soon for O2 Blast again, so this is another fight that's very winnable for them. But if they can cycle the ult since Jerry can get EMP, this is a good position to be in if you're Meta Athena, if you remove this portal early.
Meta Athena gonna be holding back. O2 moving through the left door. Beat is up. They're gonna use it. The response. And no, Mondu got hacked. He got hacked and beat. There was no beat at all. That was an incredible play from Jerry. And Myeongbong has to transcend a little bit later, but it's not time to save Kaiser.
And already we're seeing Meta Athena show a little bit more comfort here on that Sombra Goats. Getting crucial hacks, getting EMPs, being more consistent, and a good corner grab for Shabil also setting up the charge for Inyok. Now both the portal's gone and Jerry still has EMP. So this is a good fight to be in. The EMP shatter could be all they need to just finish it up, because if the fight takes any longer, we're in last fight territory.
Jerry goes over, uses EMP, hits 4. Proper's Graviton came out a little before the rally, keeping O2 Blast somewhat in it, but Kaiser's down. The EMP, it's done enough. And Meta Athena holding O2 Blast back. The Sombra setup a little bit later in the map, but now paying dividends against the 3-3 setup of O2 Blast.
Kwong's gonna get back into mech and then immediately hacked again. Can't bomb just yet. So Meta Athena stabilizing. They have beat. They're coming up on the grab. They know that there won't be a beat. They can force the trance early, but Kwong entry beating with the Diva Bomb.
Bomb up and over. Meta Athena holding back. Inyok taken for a ride down the Myeongbong. Now a man advantage here for O2 Blast is what they've been waiting for. Kaiser, a lot of opportunity to land a fight-winning shatter, especially with only 4 left in the field. The Graviton's coming in, but the shatter from Kaiser is free. Able to drop it on down. O2 Blast now looking for the final bit of fall through. The Transcendence in for Meta Athena, but it's not going to be enough. O2 Blast, though, it takes them all the time they have to bring it on in. It's an overtime finish. That leaves options open for Meta Athena.
Already a much better showing for Meta Athena. At least they may not be winning still. They didn't have a full hold. They didn't stop a hold anywhere. They've still full cap for O2. But they look more consistent. They look like they're actually able to compete in these fights. As you see now, Jerry. The Myeongbong montage, as they call it. Because Myeongbong, he has been fragging. He has been getting tons of value. He's such a transformative player for this squad. Originally from WGS. Moved over.
And here's the play of the game for me right here, is that you look at Mondu. Hacked. And the hack coming in from Jerry right when the beat was about to hit the ground. It's not dying while mid-beat, but it's just as bad.
It's just as bad, though you can give it a little bit more leeway because that Sombra hack, if you're in the right position, is tough to deal with. Obviously, if you're a Lucio player, you still need to be watching for that. But it is a lot tougher to anticipate than it is put yourself in a position to just not die. So Meta Athena going to be on the offense. Going to be looking forward now to equalize. They do more than equalize. They want to have a stronger, faster time because they want to bring back this series.
And I will say, there's quite a bit of discussion in Overwatch right now about the entire concept of, well, you know, do you mirror? Do you play to your strengths? How do you go about things here? And I think when you're getting outclassed in the 3-3 mirror, going to Sombra is the way to go. And we're seeing more evidence of that here today, where for Meta Athena, they were getting rolled in 3-3 versus 3-3. It wasn't even close. They go over to running Sombra, and suddenly, now it's a lot more in contest.
Now Athena rolling out here on the offense. And the Sombra goats here. Once again, O2 running their standard 3-3. And if you're O2 Blast, you don't want to give Jerry free poke. And you want to be trying to catch this front line, or even potentially catching the back line for Athena as Jerry gets decloaked, forced back. And O2 look at this aggression. They want to try to catch him with the rotation. Forcing Krong out early. Krong wasn't there to get that boot that's so important on the doorway.
Athena going on the full rotation. Jerry's been very slow to build EMP up here so far. So they're doing all these rotations, but O2 still has a stronger front line. O2 can simply roll into Athena here. Jerry needs to remember it's not all about key hacks, it's about getting EMP and quickly, because O2 really has nothing to fear until the EMP is up.
Look at all this point time being bought, all this time going away because O2 are just cycling the edges. They're actually overcommitting now onto the point. Kaiser shield broken.
Kaiser stayed in there way too long. I don't think he recognized the danger. Levels might have died on the other side, but Athena, they're really low right now. That's the only problem. They can't immediately rush into O2 after taking out Ryan because everyone was so poked low. So Kaiser's death not entirely without some results, but both teams looking a bit sloppy. The one upside from Athena, the EMP has been built.
But the trance forced actually, I think, using that translocator or something, because Myeongbong uses that trance. There's now no trance for the EMP. They catch everyone. They need to get more frags. Proper still has the grab, but it would be foolish, I think, at this point to commit it. But Proper does.
What? That, I don't understand why the grab came in there. Athena has way more people on the point. They have a stronger advantage. It forced out the rally, and Myeongbong even catches Jerry, so maybe O2 Blast is hoping for the miracle, but that would have required so much to go right for O2 and so much to go wrong for Athena. I think they should have just kept that grab in.
I mean, it was sort of a tumult of bad plays there because they had the grab come a little too late after the trance was forced early, and then Mondu beats trying to save Krong's mech and keep Proper in the fight with him. And now they don't have beat, they don't have trance, they don't have grab. And Athena are in a position where they can walk forward, set up themselves in a great spot to just set up their grab, win the fight with grab, then they have the EMP, and the ult cycle continues.
I think it was just a comedy of errors almost from both teams, but Athena still in a reasonable spot. They drop the grab here. Shabil getting really low after dropping it, ends up falling, took too much poke damage. Walk up to set the grab. Shatter gonna be coming in from Kaiser on the other side. Inhyuk falling. And O2 Blast, 3-3 or not, they're able to stabilize, and Jerry will have EMP up for next fight as one upside.
That was a cardinal mistake that Shabil just made by was in front of the Ryan Shield. You can't be in front of the Ryan Shield in 3-3, especially against good 3-3 teams, because they will discord you. Myeongbong is a monster, and he will find you. He will keep you discorded, and you will go down. That's exactly what happened with Shabil, where, sure, he was able to find the grab, but he was so low that he couldn't even commit to get the damage. He could not live, and without him surviving post-fight, there's no way that Athena ever wins.
That's a really fat grab over the top, pulls in everyone, and that bomb was not needed, because the fall-through was just incredibly strong.
The bomb wasn't needed, but Levels died with beat. Levels was mid-cast, lost beat. So I'll trade the bomb for losing a beat for Athena. It works out in the end because you generally use the bomb, the beat, try to counter the bomb. And that's a tough time for those Lucios here so far in this map, in this series. Though Jerry now has that EMP, so they have EMP Shatter. Myeongbong has the trance. They need to go early before Mondu gets beat because they can burn through the trance, but they can't do burn through both trance and beat.
Kaiser just steps up, knocks down 2 with the Shatter, and then they isolate the other side. They go for Inhyuk instead of the people in the back. I think it's smart target selection coming in from O2 Blast. And Sombra or not, Athena just finding it very difficult to get good engages here on Hollywood Second.
And they must be taking engages. They need to be having these engages a little bit quicker. Because EMP should be something, especially for Hollywood Second, they're building fast. They have the advantage of the verticality and the flanks. Though it is tough to find the perfect EMP engage, because once again, the problem with all this high ground and all these flanks and all these doors to hide in is that the support line is far harder to catch. It's far harder to catch multiple members for O2 Blast, especially when they play split properly. But this is the fight they need to engage. This is the fight they need to take. They have grab, they have EMP, they need to
just
use to win.
They don't waste any time, they immediately go in. Jerry drops the EMP response, sets up the Shatter for Inhyuk. This is a fight that Athena can still win. O2 Blast tried to take the initiative. It kind of backfires to a degree because of the Shatter EMP. Still gonna buy some time here, perhaps. But O2, actually, going back on in. Athena, this is turning a little bit bloodier than they would like, and yeah, they end up winning the fight, but it takes time, and not only mid 3 left, time is not something they have a whole lot left.
It was a lot bloodier than what Athena would have won, and in addition, a lot costlier. Because it's not just the time bank, but they made Shubil invest grabs. They made Shubil invest that grab in that fight because Proper drops it there. Even in a fight where they were down players who's confident that they could at least trade out or force Athena to use ults they didn't want to, and that's exactly what they did. Now they're moving forward, they have beat, they know there's no grab, there's no EMP, and here comes the engage.
Self-destruct from Crawling Raw, but gets Shubil. Wasn't set up by anything, and that is so good for O2 Blast. They lose Mondu. It's 5-on-5. Transcend's gonna be used here from Athena. Athena trying to push on through. They get Kaiser, so the aggression actually not a bad idea. Inyok picks up 3.
Inyok off the shatter, getting so much done. Getting these final frags, almost getting 1. That's gonna be the second cap. And realistically, that should have been an O2 fight win, right? They use the Diva Bomb, and they don't get, and they get an early Zarya frag, so they have the damage, pure damage with these spawners getting caught here late. Now Jerry has EMP, but up against that double support ult. So for Athena, you have to make a choice, which is do you take an eco push, or do you use this EMP as a way to just force support ults? Use the EMP as a way to remove these support ults to set up Shubil in the following fight.
And most likely, I think they're going to be going with the EMP to start things out. I usually, for teams like this, are not going to hold on to it or wait to any significant degree, especially when they don't have a Graviton. I have to think that Jerry is just simply going to look to open EMP as soon as he has a good opportunity. Goes in over the top, drops EMP, and that's exactly what happens. Graviton in from O2 Blast before the EMP. Barrier out. Athena trying to go forward. They're going to get Krong demeched early. O2 Blast in a bit of a pinch here. Shatter from Inyok doesn't get anything. Kaiser now, slight advantage him in the Ryan v Ryan battle. Has the Earth Shatter up of his own, but it's only a Shatter, beat, and bomb up. And O2 Blast is giving up a lot of space to Athena.
They're giving up the space, but more importantly, they're still holding, they're building up their ult bank. They still have beat, they still have Shatter. They're coming up on the bomb, on the rally. Jerry is not even close to EMP. And the EMP was sure, it might have been designed to set up Shubil, but Shubil's only 80% to grab. Proper's going to be half that already after dropping it much later, or much earlier.
Well, the fight is underway. Taro immediately falling. Kaiser, though, down in turn 5 on farm. Athena, they need to finish with a little bit here. I mean, I guess realistic at this point doesn't matter, no matter what.
Oh!
That Graviton completely whiffed! Completely whiffed! Shubil, I don't know what Shubil is aiming for. I think someone a little bit closer, and it must have sailed over. Final 13 seconds, Athena looking for an overtime finish. At this point, O2 Blast, though, everyone's going to be back on up. They're charged up and good to go.
O2 Blast, they're feeling confident. They have the ult economy advantage here. Athena has to wait to stall out Cart. They want Jerry to get EMP, but you see this early engage for O2, realizing free grab, free bomb. There's no Diva to eat.
O2 used 3 ults. They don't get exactly what they're looking for on it. Athena actually in a good spot here. Barrier up, and Hyuk needs to stay alive, and they immediately beat. And this time it connects. Pelican down on the other side. Athena now 6 on 5. The beat engage working out quite well. They've built up EMP mid-fight. And even as we're in overtime, it's still winnable here from Athena. Move on in. Both Reinhardts going to fall. O2 Blast looking for a way back in. Proper getting real close to a Graviton. The Transcend's already been used. If Proper can stay alive, he can't. He's taken down. Half finishes him off. There won't be an emergency grab from O2 Blast. And now O2 very outnumbered here on the point, trying to stall. Transcendence, yeah, buy them a little bit of time. And don't forget, Proper would be coming back in with Graviton if they can somehow keep delaying.
The rally also out for Pelican. Getting flattened there against the wall. Here comes Proper. But the beat, Mondu, he was mid-cast. If that beat had gone off, there might have been a chance for Proper to contest. But even with the grab going out, he would have had 0 energy, so unlikely to get the cleanup. And against all odds, O2, they had that huge ult advantage. They had a grab for free since they knew that Jerry did not have EMP just yet, but they couldn't find any value off that ult engage. And then Athena recognized, okay, this is an ult drain team. O2 has nothing to stop our EMP. They have nothing to stop our counter ults. We can walk forward and we can win that post fight, which is exactly what they did.
Ooh, that was a replay right there. That was, I felt my brain rewinding like an old Blockbuster videotape. It was like going back as that was going on. But
maybe
in any
trying
case,
to pause at the same time as the replay goes live, so a little bit of a weird conjunction of both those features.
So a little bit of a quick tech issue going on there where, you know, sometimes you try and replay so hard that you just blow up the production machine in the processes. Might have been what happened there. But of course, the game is still completely okay. And, you know, good on Meta Athena there, where that was a pretty tough final fight. There was a lot in advantage to O2. O2 unable to finish it off. And now we go to extra rounds where it's 1 minute apiece. Where I will say this, I do think the one downside to having to run the 3-2-1 is that when you only have 1 minute, Sombra's a lot weaker in 1 minute left to go situation. So this is still going to be an edge to O2, I think, as we head into these extra rounds.
And O2 should know as well that if they're going to play Sombra, if Meta Athena will play Sombra, then there's no downsides to just finding the nearest target and killing them, even if you lose some positional advantage, because it's a minute. There's a minute on the clock. By the time you get out of spawn and get the point, you're essentially down to 40 seconds. So it's all can that engage. It's all up to that gauge for O2. And, you know, we get to see some excellent Shubil grabs there. Right,
the interesting thing is they won this fight even with that Graviton being very off the mark to start out with, because it was just a really long, extended fight. And Shubil, to his credit, still made up for it at the very end.
When you lose that Zarya early, you don't have that high energy Zarya. Just the value of not having that huge damage dealer, not having that utility, even with the bad grab.
So O2 going to be on the attack here first, and this is a good adaptation for Meta Athena. I like the fact that they recognize that running the Sombra on defense here with only a minute to go is not a great idea. Also, they did kind of get rolled over at first to start with on O2's first attack. It's not great that they have to mirror 3-3 versus 3-3, where O2 has been better at it, and that's what they've been running the entire time, but I still think this is a very good move from Meta Athena.
So, Meta Athena moving forward. There's a minute on the clock. We're going to try to meet O2 Blast here at the choke. O2 Blast rotating. Actually managed to make it through the choke pretty scot-free for the offense. And now they managed to a much better position to be.
Meanwhile, for O2 Blast, they have to be sure that Kaiser protected. Meta Athena has been focusing down Kaiser more so than anyone else early in these fights, even more so than Orion usually gets focused. Pelican getting a bit of poke damage. O2 now pushing forward the block. Inhyuk now getting low as well. Heavy damage on all sides. Inhyuk having to give it a little bit of room, but meanwhile, who's paying the price for it? It's Shubil. Shubil eating a lot of damage on the Diva, and the poke war going so much in favor of O2 Blast, and they're out for blood. They're going to be chasing on down. Moving in, the Shatter connects, takes down 2. Transcends there the heal, but not in time to save Teru. O2 working one man up right now, 6 on 5. Transcendence in, just moving forward. Inhyuk gonna fall, and not only is O2 Blast likely to get point A now, but who knows where this is gonna stop.
O2 Blast capping the first point, and just like you talked about, they're gonna be rolling forward continuously because Proper has grab, Krong has bomb, Manju not too far from the beat. And for Meta Athena, this is a scenario where it's sort of a, if you commit to the fight and lose, you're very likely to lose second. But if you don't commit to this fight and allow O2 Blast to win, then all you do is give them not only more bank, more time, more push, but also more ults. So for Meta Athena, when you're looking at the ults, I think this is a fight they do try to commit. They have the high ground early. They're already above them. They can try to set up Jerry. They should know there's no trance. And then hopefully put their bomb.
It's just so incredibly scary here because overtime spawns are a thing. It's going to take them a much longer time to get back out. Should they fail? Shubil already eating a lot of damage here. Proper going to strike first. Early Graviton out here from O2 Blast. Forced out the beat. Graviton by Jerry. Used in response. Bomb from O2 Blast in the middle. Shubil's bomb already gets Myungbong. 6 on 5 here from Athena. The shatter from Inhyuk is big. Kaiser down as a result. And Meta Athena, they take the risk. They move in. But it is successful. They hold off O2 Blast. And that will be the push ending here on point B. But even getting point A alone is a big accomplishment for O2 Blast.
Inhyuk having a very crucial shatter in that fight after the ults were traded, after everyone lives. Kaiser's shatter just putting everyone on the ground a little bit too early before the bomb was out. But Inhyuk with the following shatter keeps everyone up, keeps everyone alive, wins the fight for them. And like we talked about, O2 getting that far is a victory for a minute. And for Meta Athena, they have to be sweating because you have to cap first with a minute, which is no small task. But you also have to get it the following far. You have to get a little bit farther than what O2 did. And you have to hope that you have the ult and you have the push to do it. Because if you're O2 Blast, you know where you must defend now. Unlike Meta Athena, O2 Blast knows where they must defend. They know where they must be stopped. And so you can actually commit to a fight where not only do you just try to burn time and clock and ult off of first, but you just save for the last fight.
The bigger issue with that as well is that not only do they have that advantage of just knowing what their win conditions are, but think about what Meta Athena has been successful on. It has not been 3-3. It's been a 3-2-1. But when you're down to only 1 minute, when you're under this time pressure, even if you had Doha on your team, you can't really rely on getting an EMP in 1 minute. There is an inherent advantage to 3-3 in the setup. So Meta Athena, they're in a bind. They have to beat O2 at something that O2 has proven over the course of the series that they are better than them at. And if they don't, that's it. They lose the map and they lose the series.
O2 taking this positioning on the high ground. Going for that early poke. Also want to deny some of those easier rotations for Meta Athena. They want to also the option to drop on them. You see Krong sitting here in that side room. Mondu also skating above, looking for the double boop. There's Mondu as well for the second boop. So much disruption on the Meta Athena. They can't make this clean rotation, but O2 Blast could not catch anyone either.
When you take a look at the other side, Jubil just barely able to get out. Meanwhile, Jerry's deep in enemy territory. When you really want a latte, he goes to the cafe and he gets Kaiser! The caffeine-induced rush working out very well for O2 Blast. Or for Meta Athena, rather, and Meta Athena now at the man advantage. Evened up, 5-on-5. Myungbong, though, down. And O2, they took a risk with Jerry rotating around like that, but it works out.
Sometimes you just need to take a risk with Jerry. It was almost saving Private Jerry, but Jerry saved himself. There wasn't enough collapse on him. He was able to rotate, get on top of Cafe, and actually shoot Kaiser in the back, enabling some of that push to happen. And O2 Blast, they had the great setup for the boops there on first, but they couldn't find any of the cleanup frags. But there's still another fight that needs to be won for Meta Athena. They have Grab. They're coming up on the rally. But look at O2 Blast, they have those also the match, and more importantly, Proper's at 80% to grab. They could get this trans out very early.
Meta Athena, final fight here and on the way. Will they be able to keep the series alive, or does it end here? O2 Blast having the 3-0. Proper says, let's make it 3-0. Uses the Graviton, pulls everyone together. The fall through is there. Teru out of the fight. 6-on-5, Myungbong using Transcendence. O2 looking very, very healthy. Kaiser following through. And O2 Blast doing what they need to do. Kaiser might be down after the shatter, but enough damage has been done here for O2 Blast. The bomb from Jubil not going to get what is needed. O2 Blast a little bit low. Still here on the point with more numbers. They need to get one more pick. Meta Athena fighting, the rally keeping them in and around. But with Jubil falling, how long can Meta Athena last? They're at a big disadvantage. And yet, on the other side, Pelican is down. O2 Blast perhaps fighting back in here. They were looking almost all but eliminated. But look at this, Proper has another grab.
Who's touching? Who's gonna touch? Oh my god, that was so close. There's the grab.
Graviton in, they're looking for it. Jerry is down. The second grab this fight in from Proper. As O2 Blast tries to put Meta Athena down, and yet Meta Athena still in it, still fighting. Inhyuk still after that. Kaiser is down. There's still hope yet.
So Levels also coming up on the beat. Jerry still has not had the chance to grab, but the beat is out for Levels. Jerry, he's coming back with the grab right now, and Teru's gonna get rally. There's no sustain for O2. Their spawns are far away. They don't have the heals. They don't have this is over. Meta Athena are gonna get the cap, and Jerry finally coming back from spawn saying it's time to release the hugest grab of them all, getting the one.
Unbelievable rollback there from Meta Athena, where O2 Blast, they had a huge edge in the fight. All they needed was some focus fire towards the very end, and they easily would have ended Hollywood. They would have ended the series. But Meta Athena says, no, if you're not going to do things properly, we're going to stubbornly stay alive here regardless of the advantage that you have. And that right there actually might have been the difference maker, where they get two off the throw-in. Kaiser is still up. Kaiser goes a little bit deep, drops a shadow that doesn't do anything, and then just dies in the corner. And without the Rhine there to just keep people off the payload for the easy Rhine damage, it just starts going awry for O2.
Not having your Rhine is so incredibly crucial. But I think also you can look back and you can see that split focus earlier where Krong decides he wants to commit on the half, thinking he'll be able to get that frag while Teru's not there. But Teru comes back at the exact right moment, hits the armor pack, and then pops rally. If Kong had been on point, getting healed, focusing the targets on point rather than going for the Zen frag thinking he could finish it up, he would have kept his mech. They probably would have been healthier. Their focus fire would have been a lot stronger. So there's a lot of split focus there for O2 Blast, on top of the fact that they just couldn't sustain, they couldn't finish up, and then because they invested so much in that fight previously, they somehow allow Meta Athena to get back into this fight to self-terror and popping so many rallies, get so much value, levels as well, getting the value of beat. And now O2, the series isn't clinched for them, it's not done just yet. They still need to close one more map, and there's a real possibility for Meta Athena to bring it back.
Now, I think for Meta Athena, it also gets better as time goes on, especially if they can continue to run a 3-2-1 with Sombra, particularly as we look into our final map of regulation here, which will be an escort. And we'll see if they can bring this back and force a 5th tie-breaking map. But we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, that escort map, heading right at you. Meta Athena showing signs of life by running Sombra on Hollywood, and yet even when their backs were against the wall, they were able to run 3-3 and get the 2, which means as a result, we still have a series, and there is a small possibility that Meta Athena could go for the reverse sweep.
Meta Athena showing some life, just like my shirt is showing some water absorption, because I've spilled water on my short indeed. Short. I can't speak. Short shirt in our small break that we had. So unfortunate for us both. Unfortunate for O2 not finishing out that fight, and unfortunate for my shirt getting water on it.
The shorts and shirt, so to speak. Where I'm not sure what's going on there, but water spills do happen. At the very least, it's water. It's not something that can actually stain. My beverage of choice here, definitely a darker beverage that it'd be noticeable and also potentially.
I like how you describe it as a darker beverage, as if it's something else at times. It's a Coke. It's a Diet Coke.
wait. The drink that is sponsored by, or that the Overwatch League is sponsored by?
Yes.
How interesting. Well, regardless, we are moving into Havana. It's going to be our 4th map here of the series, and Meta Athena, not done yet.
Havana is going to be the map to decide it, whether the series is done or if Meta Athena gets to take it to map 5. And Havana, I mean, if there's one map that you talked about before we went on break, is that Havana, there's a lot of opportunity for Jerry to be playing that Sombra. There's a lot of opportunity to swap away from the 3-3 and abuse the flanks, abuse the verticality, and get value with Jerry on that Sombra.
And Escort doesn't really ever put you in a situation where you feel, no, I can't run a Sombra, because even if you get into an overtime 1-minute situation, usually there's ways of drawing it out to still get an EMP, specifically on Escort, in ways that you couldn't really do on, say, Hybrid or Assault. So I think this is a little bit worrying for O2 Blast, and also not just worrying about this particular series, but going forward, Meta Athena is not showing us the absolute top tier in Sombra 3-2-1 gameplay. Like, it's been shaky, and yet it's still been rattling O2 Blast. So for O2, as they're going to be looking forward to some of the stronger teams in the group, certainly your EMs, they need to do better against the setup, and I don't know if just stubbornly being on 3-3 at all times is necessarily the answer.
If it's shaking the foundations for O2 now against Meta Athena, a team that wasn't even the best in trials and have not shown the cleanest performance here, then you're exactly right. How are they going to perform against teams like EM again? Against teams even like Fusion University or Runaway if they evolved? I think that there's a lot of weakness being shown for O2 in the series. And Meta Athena, I don't know if it's Meta Athena playing better or rather O2 losing some composure and not knowing exactly how they want to deal with this composition just yet. Much the same way they had a problem with EM previously in the past in the previous Contender season. So definitely not a perfect look for O2.
No, and I mean, also just going forward, when you look at the trends in Overwatch as a whole right now, how many teams can you look at and go, you know, they're actually totally fine running nothing but 3-3, because you can't even look to the Titans anymore. You can't go, oh, well, yeah, Vancouver, they just usually run 3-3. It's like, well, let me introduce you to the LA Valiant of all teams that just stomp them using Sombra.
So I'm getting ready to roll out here on Havana. Gonna be our fourth map, and also a sub coming in. Krong out, Flora in. And Flora is someone we've seen on O2 Blast previously, actually, and this makes sense. This is a very, this sub makes a lot of sense because Flora, traditionally, we've actually seen Flora play Sombra, and now with Flora in, they're looking for Havana to have Flora play that Sombra for O2.
I mean, I will say one thing about the change that seems pretty telegraphed in that O2, by making this change, they're just announcing to the world, yeah, we're not going to play Diva. We're just going to run Sombra the entire time. Now, the interesting thing about this is that Meta Athena, in response to seeing the Sombra, is going to be running with a 3-3. O2 cannot run a mirror 3-3, I think, the way they normally would with Flora in the lineup, so we'll see if this works out.
Meta Athena have shown that 3-3 so far hasn't necessarily been their forte, so putting Flora in and putting Meta feeling like they have to play 3-3 to counter this might be overall a much better pick for them. It already forces Meta off the comfort zone, not the composition they're already good at.
So O2 right now waiting for Flora to build EMP. Flora at about 43% right now. It's a reasonably quick build, but a lot of space being given up. This is already one fight territory for O2. Hack can be moving in here onto levels. And Flora taking the time to build EMP. Heavy pressure going in Hyuk. So incredibly low. Same with Shabil and Jerry. And one of them falls. He can't heal all three up effectively here. And O2 dealing with Meta Athena, who just got too aggressive.
Now having to back up. Flora already has that EMP. Utilizing these high grounds very effectively. Utilizing the flanks to get the poke. Getting those cooldowns as well for O2 Blast. O2 had Flora for that early poke. Giving them bubbles, giving them armor packs. We've seen teams like EM do this before, where you give a lot of utility to that Sombra to build that EMP very quickly to give pressure to Meta Athena. And now Meta Athena gonna have to look to re-engage and play around this EMP. Half has the Transcendence, but you don't want to have to trade the Transcendence for the Trance or for the EMP, because now Proper's just gonna grab you after.
See how they play it. The EMP coming out first, and Transcendence is used for the EMP, but it's the worst of all worlds because it's not in time to save Inhyuk. And more importantly, Proper now gets to save the Graviton for the next fight, where it is known there's not going to be a Transcendence. This is very bad for Meta Athena.
And if Flora continues to get the resources he has and the build that he's been doing, he's already 32% to another EMP. So this next fight, they drop. If O2 Blast drops grab, wins it, and only with the grab, maybe with the rally, and they build another EMP, the Meta Athena are looking at an increasingly rough scenario.
Well, the number one issue here is how do you deal with the Graviton? Are you going to be able to get the Miracle Eat from Shabil? Because that'd be the one answer to deal with this increasingly complicated problem. O2 Blast holding back, giving Flora a lot of time to build up EMP. And Meta Athena just not very swift right now, and it's giving O2 even more options as they go on a very long rotation.
They go on a long rotation, ZP, and look at Flora's ult charge. 95%. He has EMP. EMP already. And so even if this grab is traded out, they have EMP posted, they have EMP shatter. They try to engage first, but this fight's already done, I think.
The beat used right after. Athena is trying to use everything in their arsenal, but guess what? Proper still has grab. Kaiser, though, down. Kaiser caught. That was the full team effort. Look at the kill feed. Everyone involved in taking down Kaiser. It takes an army. But O2 going to be using the beat a little bit later. They drop the Graviton. They force out the Transcendence here from half. Then Athena able to build up the Transcendence. Middle of the fight. O2 in danger now as they try and stall, but I don't think they have the firepower anymore. They're going to be losing the final two, and Athena, they get through the first hurdle.
I called that fight a little too early. I definitely thought that Athena was going to be losing there as soon as that shatter came out to stop them feeling the grab. But Kaiser just not watching out, not really respecting Inyok's shatter there, putting everyone on the ground, keeping Mondo on the ground, who had that beat that could have kept everyone alive too through that damage. So first going the way for Athena. As they move forward here, they want to deny this early hold for O2 Blast. O2 moving in, they're going to have the EMP. And if you're meta, really you want half to get this Transcendence. You need half to get this Transcendence. It's looking like he can already 90%, so has the trance up for the EMP. They can survive the post fight. They can look for the grab afterwards. A very good position to be in for Athena.
Athena pushed back, heavy damage on the Teru. Transcendence built on up. Levels in danger, and Levels is down. Levels, I think, was looking for some boops and ends up just getting beamed down. No two blasts are going to take well advantage. Just moving on forward. EMP ready for the next fight, and ult-wise in a very good spot.
That's something that just can't happen for meta, where they've already denied the early position. They have what they need to deny the grab, to deny the trance, deny the EMP. But you can't get picked off early. You can't lose a neutral fight. If you're getting that much pressure, you should probably just try to engage first. You had the bomb, you could have looked to split, look for an engage, and then you probably would have forced EMP, you could have tranced it, but losing someone early is the exact opposite of what needed to happen.
O2 holding on to the high ground right now. They give up a decent amount of space to Athena, but really they're just waiting for the EMP. The EMP goes out, hits 3, the Transcendence from half is in there. Athena's still alive. Moves on over to Jerry, keeps Jerry in the fight. Jerry gonna respond with the Graviton of their own. Both teams stuck in grab. Now you look to the Reinhardts here. Shatter in from Kaiser, and Kaiser's gonna fall. The bomb from Jabil strikes from the back, and Athena gets the benefit of the ultimate showdown.
Athena finding what they wanted there. They had the trance to survive through the EMP. It was a good trance from half. Then Jerry drops the grab to peel, so O2 could not follow up. And Shabil's bomb not only does it make that space, but they had already burnt bubbles, and Teru just sets up that bash, removes Kaiser's barrier, and that's why that 3K happened. The ult fight much stronger in the 3v once you remove that EMP, as O2 try to rally in and recontest.
This is the beat out of Athena, fighting power for power. Kaiser down first once more. And on the 6-on-5, Athena taking control here on point B Havana. And this, for Havana, I'm not going to say it's the quickest time, but any time you get through point B is a good time.
And look at Myongbong, he's being staggered in the back, the boop, the bashes, the extra boop from the Diva, finally going to be going down. So a little bit of extra stagger there for Athena as they move forward. Floor will have this EMP, but half already matching in Transcendence yet again. Now you notice how O2 has made the swap onto Ana. So their goal with this EMP, since they know that half is keeping up with these support ults, is that once this EMP goes out, you look for the nade, you follow up. It gives you an extra win condition for for O2 Blast.
Half Transcendence built up here from Athena. We'll see if the Transcendence is in time for the EMP. There's the EMP, and there's the Transcendence again! Half, well-timed, dealing with the EMPs, moving on in. Proper Relay hasn't been able to punish with Gravitons the way that you'd normally see in this sort of situation. And Athena, the payload continues to move forward. No to Blast. They have no choice but to give up room and go to the castle.
And even with that perfect kill from O2 Blast, keep Floor alive, they do. They have to back up, they have to give up that room. Now Jerry still has that grab. Teru has the rally. They can look to be aggressive because they know there's no EMP. They know there's no beat. They know they're probably ahead on the grab. I don't know why Athena waited so long. They just need to look for the engage.
Graviton's used. They move on in. O2. They lose 2 immediately. They don't have the ability to sustain on through. Shatter in from Minhyuk, dropping one down. The bomb from Shabil finds Proper. And Athena just rolling through point C. O2 Blast down and out. There's a little bit of delay coming in, but I don't expect they'll be able to delay for long. The delay About to come to the very end. Kaiser on the way out versus the entire team. And guess what? The team's going to win. And that is a decent finish from Meta Athena and O2 having issues.
Meta Athena finding their footing on that second point. Half continually keeping pace with the Transcendences. Every one of them finding tons of value. They use their ults effectively to peel, to stop the cleanup. They don't get caught in the cycle. You see there, that's where that bomb and that bash comes in after they burned the bubble. So Meta Athena seemingly finding their footing here, forcing O2 to say, well, O2's, we're not winning versus the Sombra, so let's try to play Sombra of our own. But now Meta's like, well, I'm going to play 3-3, and their 3-3 seems to be overall a lot better than O2 is running the Sombra into the 3-3.
And I do think you have to look deeper into the rotations that are going on here, where I don't think O2 is comfortable running a normal 3-3 with Flora in the lineup. I think the swap for Flora is, again, the clear signal, we want to run 3-2-1. They do not have the flexibility between Flora and Krong to just run both normal 3-3 and 3-2-1 in the same lineup. That is a pretty crucial weakness, in fact, of this O2 squad right now that we're seeing. And we're dealing with the results of it right now, where I think if O2 could do mid-map substitutions, they would have swapped out Flora for Krong and just run 3-3 against 3-3, where they've been good in the 3-3 mirrors, but this has just not gone as well for them here. And Meta Athena, I think, has a real chance of forcing map 5.
You look at this comp from Meta, they're looking like they want to hold it extremely aggressively. They have a spawn camp Havana map where you can fight very, very aggressively at the spawn. They have Teru on the Batiste, just to give them a little bit of the extra staying power. Even though they lose some of that frontline presence, they lose some of that peel, it gives them an extra overall staying power to hold the spawn doors with that immortality field, with that extra peel.
And Athena just going in very aggressively from the spawn. Inhyuk throwing a little bit back. Proper though down. And Meta Athena, though low, he get healed up rather quickly. You can see the regenerative burst coming out here from Teru. Meta Athena making the spawn camp work.
Already have the amplification matrix up here for Teru as well, so they can drop it in this fight. Hope to win in the neutral game before. So close to the EMP. You see the amplification matrix come out. O2 Blast are just going to hide. They're not even going to bother to take this fight right now. And now they can move forward. They know the amplification matrix is gone. They could potentially try to just win the neutral fight here because they've retained their energy, but they do have EMP.
Well, they're going to start with the EMP. And the EMP, it's everyone. 6-man EMP. Immortality Field was really well placed right as that came out, but it's just not enough to turn the fight where, all right, everyone's going to live for a little bit longer, but it's still devastating. O2 Blast are going to get out of spawn, but on the same note for Meta Athena, this is kind of good. They had to use EMP to get out of spawn. You have plenty of room left to come back. It's Havana.
The real question is, does Teru swap out of the Batiste? It looks like they want to commit to the Batiste again because he is close to that amplification matrix. But the longer they run, the thing is now, amplification matrix is not quite as strong as it was before because O2 have built their support ults. They built their support ults. They can use Pelican to pressure early, and Teru Batiste in general is a lot weaker once that rally's on top of him.
Flora to the back. Oh, Flora's down! Taken down by half. Zen dealing with the Sombra threat in the back, and that delays the EMP build by so much. Flora normally would have been close to having an EMP off that. Instead, back to spawn.
So the pick sending O2 back. They are getting close to another EMP, 70% for Flora. For Meta Athena, they really need this grab. They need this grab. They want to try to grab first, remove the ults for O2 Blast, deny a good EMP. As Jerry solo grabbed, actually, the Immortality Field not able to save him.
I don't think the Immortality Field was in the right spot to save it. I think it was a little bit off. It said Amplification Matrix down. That's not a shield. You can shatter right on through it. Guys are using that. Inhyuk out of the fight. And the solo grab on the Jerry turning out to be a very good decision. And that should give O2 Blast point A relatively easily.
Meta could theoretically contest, but you don't want to lose this second hold that's so strong early. They're going to regroup. They're going to fight early at the second. They're keeping Teru on the Batiste, which I don't agree with at this point. The amplification matrix is gone. It's much better just to have the Brigitte so you can win this straight up 3-3 duel, since Flora is still on that Sombra. And now O2 Flash are going to move forward. They're going to look for the EMP. It's levels beat. That's the one that's going to counter that, unless Meta Athena goes for that early engage and drops that grab.
Flora just hanging out here, waiting for the rest of O2 to get in position. Then Should be a pretty easy EMP. Although EMPing here on the bridge is risky. Because if you go for it, the odds that your team gets booped and they can actually get away pretty high, and yet it's just raw poke damage that forces Meta Athena back. That is incredibly good for O2.
Meta Athena going for the rotation now, contesting the card here from the low ground rather than the high ground. But giving up the high ground means that Flora has a little bit more opportunity to set up the EMP. There it is.
EMP gets everyone except for Lucio. Levels able to come back out. The good barrier. Meta Athena still very much alive in this fight. Iñak gets hacked right after. The hack has gone away. The Shatter now available. Iñak moving forward. Mortality Field has gone away. O2 Blast still looking to power the way through. Proper. Graviton can be up and ready. Transcendence, so ready in response. This has been pretty well played by Meta Athena. You can see the Graviton come in. The Transcendence used. Now you look towards Reinhardt's Kaiser under heavy pressure. Iñak holding on to the Shatter. Meta Athena holding the line right now against the pressure from O2 Blast.
Continuing to play this choke extremely effectively, denying a lot of this damage. The Solo Shatter going out onto Proper, who's trying to peek for that damage, but they force the beat. Now, no beat in effect. Kaiser still has a Shatter, but Flora, 80% to EMP and climbing. Can they get a Shatter off the Shatter? Getting two. Jerry on the ground.
So many on the ground. It was 4 to the ground off the Shatter from Kaiser. And that opens the way for O2 in what was a very long and protracted fight.
Meta Athena will have a recontest. They'll have Jerry's grab. But if they commit the grab to this fight and they lose, they're in a situation where, sure, they force trance, but now they don't have the grab for the following fight, and they're still going to have to deal with the EMP. They're still going to have to deal with the counter grab from Proper. It's going to be a risky contest for Meta Athena. If they lose this fight, they're at a severe ult disadvantage.
Well, Meta Athena looking to go in. They open with the Graviton first. We'll see if Flora uses EMP in response. EMP does come out in response. Immortality Field in time to save not 1, but 2! And actually, not going to be enough to change the fight. Proper there to follow through. The Amp Matrix, not quite enough. The field was good, but the positioning and flow of the battle just so much in favor of O2 Blast.
The problem with that contest is, again, exactly what I talked about, where they committed the Amplification Matrix and grab. So now Terra making a swap going to be completely ult neutral for the Brigida. Now O2, they can move forward, and if they commit grab in this fight, they remove the support ult from Meta Athena, then they're in a position where they know Jerry doesn't have a grab of his own. They can counter support ult. Flora will probably have EMP by then. It's the ult cycle. It's the ult cycle of dealing with Sombra, and they committed the one tool they had to deny this grab getting a lot of value, which is the grab of their own.
It is a little bit scary here for O2, even though they're in a position of advantage. They still have to win 2 fights on a very difficult point for the attackers. Meta Athena gonna move on in. They use the barrier, they use the Shatter. Flora down to the ground early, but Shubil ends up paying the price. Ends up falling mid self-destruct. Kaiser able to punish. Taking Terra on a ride. O2 Blast are over the first hurdle. And more importantly, they're gonna have EMP for what could be the final fight, and they still have over a minute to go.
Once again, we look at the ult economy for Meta Athena and the continuing problems for the fact that they contested that fight and used Jerry's grab. And then they take that fight, they use both support ults in that fight too, and the bomb to try to peel. They did not save their team. They don't have support ults. O2 Blast not only has the support ult add, but still has EMP. Half has made the swap into Ana, realizing he won't have transit time. He'd rather have Ana have the nade, have the sleep. And this is going to steal it.
The EMP, Meta Athena all hacked over. No resources left to even go to. And this fight, just so much in favor of O2 Blast from the jump. Meta Athena now going to have to look for Heurix. They need to get back towards the point. That's the first step to begin with. Terra ends up falling. Respawn's coming back out, but just too much pressure on the point here from O2 Blast. And it will be a quicker time, though not significantly so, between the two teams. It's still in contest. O2, though, of course, would very much like to end this and not go to a map 5 where anything can happen.
And when you review that offense, when you review the offense for Meta, or for O2 Blast in comparison to Meta, all I could see is that gifted last. It was a gifted last in a lot of ways, because they decided to contest after this loss, after the shatter from Kaiser. They decided to contest again and commit their grab. And if they just held the grab, if they just held that grab and saved their ults for the following fights, they're in a situation where right here were proper grabs. And even though they used double support ult and the defensive bomb, they could have still, even if they lost the fight, had a grab for the following fight, try to engage first and stop the EMP, but they just used so many resources on that contest. They used that grab on that contest so crucial that they didn't have it for when they needed it in the third.
Well, I think the key crux of what you're getting at here is that particularly the second to last fight, that is a fight where if you're Meta Athena, the goal should not have been, let's win this fight right now. The goal should have been, let's make our next fight where we have way better defensive ability because of the nature of the very final area on point C. Let's make that a much more winnable fight, and you do that by not committing as much. Instead, they commit pretty much everything they have, and they leave themselves no time to make the final fight even remotely winnable. But now we go to their attack here once more, and Meta Athena changing things up. That is a Pharah Mercy.
That's a Pharah Mercy with the Hanzo, so they're running 2-2-2 here. Not even Troll DPS, not even like a solo tank. This is a standard 2-2-2. They're expecting O2 to not be running D.Va, to be on the Sombra composition, which exactly they are because they're with Flora right now. And Meta Athena with a good read here, even though they don't have a lot of time to push, with Teru and Shubil are actually very free, since there's no D.Va to contest them.
And also, I don't think point B is as much of a factor. I think even just getting point A with 1 minute left for the opposition is very defensible. But Inyok down immediately. O2 recognizes, hey, we can just run at them so as far as done enough damage. However, they start getting punished on the outset. Meta Athena with 5 back up, full air superiority. This might backfire on O2. I think they might have gone too deep.
O2 losing them with those frags. And they can't lose anyone either. You see how split they are. Look how split O2 is. They don't have supportals. If they lose anyone late, they're at risk where they can't even recontest effectively before the doors. They are going to be able to come back. Myungbong has the Transflora getting up on the EMP. It's all on this barrage.
All right, that barrage was highly ambitious. It gets Flora, which is the most important person, but they might not even need the EMP to bring this back. Prince Sun's out, Meta Athena down 2 key members of Jerry and Terror out of the fight. Dragon Strike going to be moving in, making a little bit of space. What's it going to do? Meanwhile, Inhyuk down. Jerry res back into the fight, but Meta Athena running out of people to throw here onto the payload. And O2 swarming on in. They stop him right here. And yet, I will remind you, it is Savannah. And the last defense, Meta Athena was at spawn and made it work. This is still, even with the errors being made on the attack there.
Uh-oh. Did we cut it out? Are we back?
Are you back?
I'm
back. Are you with us?
Okay. Okay, we're back. Okay, I was cutting out there that time. I got the spike. But I'm back now.
You're back into our reality. We've pulled you back in. We saw you shifting dimensions. It's a no. The world needs memes.
And really, to follow up with where we're at, is that Meta Athena made a crucial mistake by committing that barrage way too early. Like, they felt they had to, because if they let Flora get the EMP off, they lose regardless. But they had Transcendence. I think it's one of those scenarios where you might just have to weather the storm and wait for the right opportunity. As long as your Pharah Mercy play split for the rest of your team, there's no anti on the field. The EMP should keep your team up. Then you can use the barrage in a much better scenario because you know there's no D.Va. But Meta Athena just committed very quickly, trying to put Terror in a position to get that barrage off. And now they're where they have to have the successful spawn camp.
The spawn camp has to be good enough that O2 has to be pressured into using EMP to leave spawn. If O2 gets out of spawn without using EMP, you can probably consider the stun, and Flora's already down! Half making a crazy hero play to start out this defense.
That's first of many fights, or the first of a few fights, really, not many, that Meta Athena need to win. Less than a minute left on the clock now for O2. They're trying to come out of spawn, and Meta just doesn't want to give them the space. The Batiste now in this scenario, I think, is perfectly fine, because if you get that early amplification matrix, continue to burn that clock with that sustained Batiste, it's good.
And they're doing better in the Poke War right now. They Immortality Field keeping Meta Athena alive. Everyone got so low. What a play from Teru to keep Meta Athena in it. Now Levels is down, and I think this is still a little bit tough for Meta Athena because, okay, they're gonna use that Matrix. They say, let's try and flip it. I don't think they have the personnel to do it, and no, everyone is falling one by one. An O2 Blast now well on their way to finishing out the series. They have the EMP. They didn't have to use it in spawn. Meta Athena, you are in trouble.
EMP, grab soon after, triple supportal. I mean, it's EMP Shatter, really. And Meta Athena, not only are they going to require half to get this Transcendent, Teru is going to have a very, very valuable Immortality Field here. to enable half to make sure this Transcendence is up. See Terror actually scouting on the high ground before he gets the armor pack. Does he win the moment? No, he doesn't.
He forced out the Immortality Field early, though. Now the EMP comes on in. Inhyuk gonna fall immediately. Kaiser with some revenge, drops the hammer. And O2 Blast, they satisfied their win condition. They kept the EMP for this fight right here, not back at spawn. And O2 gonna fish it on out. A 3-1, but a 3-1 fraught with drama, fraught with risk. It was not easy for O2 Blast on these final 2 maps. And that's troubling, given that Meta Athena is still likely one of the weaker teams in all of Contenders Korea right now.
Definitely showed some of the holes, I think, with O2's strategy, where their lineup they run is not very flexible on average. It looks like they're preferring just to play stick with the 3-3, and they're going to make those swaps where they can add a little more flexibility. They put in Flora, but then that's so telegraphed, right? Every team will be able to say, okay, they're running Flora. We can make our own swaps. We can make our own adjustments, and especially if they're a more flexible roster overall, they know how they can sort of counteract these moves that O2 is going to be making, especially when they look shaky versus Som.
Yeah, and we'll see how O2 adapts overall. I just don't think that the way O2 is playing here today was good enough to deal with Meta Athena. But Meta Athena made good adjustments. But as much as you think Meta Athena was making good adjustments, the style of play that Meta Athena was playing is played much more convincingly by teams like Element Mystic, Fusion University in particular. So for O2, they can walk away with the W. That's the important part. But they must make